Welcome to this explainer. You know, when France and Morocco step onto the pitch at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, it might feel like a severe case of déjà vu. I mean, we all remember their massive clash 4 years ago, right? But hold on a second. Is this actually the same script? Well, as we're going to see when we look at the data, we are witnessing an absolute paradigm shift here. This is an entirely different matchup than what we saw in Qatar. Seriously, completely different.
Okay, let's dive into this. 34. Now, that isn't just some random statistic. That is Morocco's historic, honestly mind-boggling, current unbeaten streak in international play. So heading into this quarterfinal, Morocco is not here as some romantic Cinderella story or, a plucky underdog hoping for a miracle. No way. A 34-match unbeaten run, that establishes them as an absolute titan of world football. I mean, they've beaten Brazil, Scotland, the Netherlands, and they literally just dismantled Canada. This one single number completely changes the psychological landscape of this upcoming match.
So here's our roadmap for the explainer today to keep us right on track. First, we'll look at the ghosts of Qatar 2022. Second, France's flawed firepower. Third, that incredible 34-match unbeaten streak. Fourth, Wadabi's tactical evolution. And finally, we'll get into the quarterfinal verdict.
All right, Section 1. Ghosts of Qatar 2022, Myth versus Reality.
Look, it's pretty much impossible to talk about this matchup without looking back at that monumental 2022 semifinal, right? The one where France just kind of sat back after getting an early goal and beat Morocco 2-0. But honestly, treating 2026 as a simple rematch is a massive mistake. Back then, under former manager Walid Regragui, and yeah, you got to hit that hard guttural G when you say his name, the 2022 Atlas Lions relied really heavily on this brilliant contain and counter strategy. They were disciplined, they were compact, and just absolutely devastating on the break. But fast forward to 2026, we're looking at a totally transformed team. Now they want to dictate and dominate. They press higher up the pitch, they commit way more bodies forward, and they actively look to control games with the ball. I mean, they've scored 10 times in just 5 matches this tournament. It is a massive, massive leap in attacking ambition.
Moving right along, Section 2, France's flawed firepower, the efficiency problem.
So we've got to talk about the favorites here. France possesses arguably the deepest, most lethal attack in the entire world, having scored 14 goals in 6 matches. But beneath the surface, there's a really glaring vulnerability. Just listen to what French manager Didier Deschamps himself said about it. He noted, "Sometimes you have 6 chances and score 2 goals. It is more important to be efficient. It's kind of like having a Ferrari, but you just keep stalling it at green lights." Take their recent 1-0 win over Paraguay, for example. France heavily controlled that game, they pinned Paraguay deep in their own half, but they looked incredibly unclinical. They actually had to rely on a 70th-minute VAR penalty just to scrape by. They are definitely creating chances, but man, they are really struggling to finish them off.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're talking about. If we look at the expected goals, or XG, for the 2026 tournament, France is generating a massive 9.79 compared to Morocco's 6.40. So France undoubtedly has that high-volume firepower. They're creating incredibly high-quality chances through guys like Kylian Mbappé and Ousmane Dembélé. But here's the thing. If they keep up this inefficiency and keep leaving goals on the table, they are leaving the door wide open for a highly structured team like Morocco to punish them. In these tight knockout matches, those margins shrink drastically for sure.
Section 3, the 34-match unbeaten streak, building a titan.
So how exactly did Morocco build this titan of a team? Well, it's actually pretty wild. Just 3 months before this World Cup, their architect, Walid Regragui, abruptly resigned amidst a bunch of controversy. You'd normally think total chaos would follow, right? But listen to analysts Kwame Tomasi and Kra. He notes that the system survived because the team's identity became something the players actually carried in their bodies, instead of just a set of instructions they had to remember. It became completely instinctive. So when 49-year-old youth coach Mohamed Awabi took over, his absolute masterstroke was just trusting the system that was already there, rather than trying to, immediately reshape the whole thing in his own image.
And this virtually indestructible system is being fed by 2 distinct, highly successful talent tracks. On one hand, you have the diaspora strategy, which brings in elite talents like Brahim Diaz, who developed in Spain and already has a historic 4 assists at this World Cup alone. But then, you also have the domestic track, specifically the Mohammed VI Football Academy, and they are producing homegrown superstars like Azzedine Anahi. I mean, Anahi is in the absolute form of his life right now, after scoring 2 brilliant goals in that 3-0 win over Canada. This seamless blend of domestic and diaspora talent has formed a terrifyingly good new generation for the Atlas Lions.
Okay, Section 4, Wabi's tactical evolution, the mid-block masterclass.
Like we mentioned, manager Mohamed Wabi didn't break Regragi's foundation, but he absolutely evolved it. He has tactically weaponized this squad against top-tier opponents. So the crucial point is how Morocco achieves control without actually needing possession of the ball. According to the FIFA Training Center, Morocco's mid-block operates in 3 specific steps. Step 1, they prioritize blocking central passing lanes, placing their players perfectly between the opposition's midfield and defense. Step 2, this naturally forces the opponent to funnel the ball out wide. And step 3, well, this is where the magic happens, conditional pressure. The ball-side unit converges rapidly, cutting off all options and basically dictating exactly where the opposition has to go.
Now, conditional pressure simply means they aren't just running around recklessly chasing the ball, like little kids playing swarm soccer. They only engage when they know for a fact that their teammates are perfectly in position to support and cover them. By waiting for these shared cues to press, they force rushed decisions and technical errors from their opponents. And crucially, this tactical discipline protects the center of the pitch, which is exactly the area where France wants to unleash the blistering pace and those dangerous diagonal runs of Kylian Mbappe.
All right, our final section, Section 5, the quarterfinal verdict, the final battleground. We know the stats, and we know the tactics, but hey, football is ultimately played on the pitch. When that whistle blows at Gillette Stadium, it's really going to come down to these 2 decisive tactical battlegrounds. First up, we have Mbappe going up against Morocco's center-back pairing of Chadi Riyad and Issa Diop. Now, they have been incredibly consistent, but they are facing the absolute ultimate test here in managing the space behind them without stepping out and leaving huge gaps. But the second matchup, that is perhaps even more critical. It's Azzedine Ouhani against France's defensive midfielder Aurélien Tchouameni. Remember, Tchouameni actually missed the Paraguay game with a thigh injury. If he isn't 100% fit to intercept Ouhani between the lines, Ouhani's going to ruthlessly exploit that space, exactly like he did against Canada and the Netherlands.
When you put all these pieces together, the paradigm shift is just undeniable. Morocco is no longer just a romantic story, just happy to be in the knockout rounds. They are a highly structured, tactically evolved machine riding a 34-match unbeaten streak. And they are primed with the exact tools needed to exploit France's current struggles with attacking efficiency. So yeah, as you can see, 2026 is definitely not 2022.
So I'll leave you with this final thought as we look ahead to kickoff. Can Morocco's meticulously built system outlive the ghosts of their past heartbreak? Or will France's undeniable, overwhelming firepower finally be the force that breaks that 34-match streak? It's shaping up to be an absolutely incredible tactical chess match. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and enjoy the quarterfinal.